Time are pulling us in and out, and part of the theme that I'm talking about today is the time of a season that we have. Also, the times, our political times, and just having gone through this election and trying to settle in on the results of that and how that works for us, against us, what it does to friendships, to discussions. I have to tell you that there's some people that are still, the election's not really over. The arguments and the debates are still going on, and there's some very divisive attitudes out there that people who feel like they're compromising their principle to find a compromise, a place in between, that's driving a schism between us. I mean, we still have people out there talking about succession and such as that. I never liked it when I complained about government and somebody would tell me, America, love it or leave it, kind of thing. But I find myself bubbling up with that same attitude about these people who say, oh, we want to leave the Union. Well, get out. Leave it. America, love it or leave it. But then my better nature takes over, and I realize that that we need to have the discussions. We don't need to hurt each other with them, but we need to have the discussions. This thing that we have, this genius of the Constitution and the constitutive process that we have, is how we progress, how we govern ourselves without resorting to violence, without resorting to having to shoot one another. And it's also intended not to be direct democracy, because direct democracy can be very volatile, and the minority position or the temporary minority position can get trampled. And so it's not just what the majority want, it's what the majority wants, tempered by the rights that we've all established through a framework, a constitutional framework over time. And I mean, because if you believe in free democracy, I mean, whoever is the majority at the time, and the directness. Well, Charles Dickens had in the Pickwick Papers in 1837 had a little thing in there that sort of addresses that. It says, one of the characters says, it's always best on these occasions to do what the mob do. And the question was, but suppose there are two mobs? The answer was, why, shout with the largest. I mean, that's no answer to this kind of thing. That's what rational thought's supposed to be about coming to applying logic and reason and finding ways to accommodate competing values so long as they have tolerance for one another. As a matter of fact, Frederick Douglass, a civil rights leader, lived 1818 to 1895. We've all read about Frederick Douglass. He says, I make no pretension to patriotism. So long as my voice can be heard on this or the other side of the Atlantic, I will hold up America to the lightning scorn of moral indignation. In doing this, I shall free myself, discharging the duty of a time patriot, for he is a lover of his country who rebukes and does not excuse its sins. That was from a speech at Market Hall in New York in 1847. So it's okay to criticize what our government does, and it's okay to be contrary to what the popular opinion or even that which has been ensconced in law if it's wrong. And that's what this process, this constitutive process, is about. In law school, I came up through a not just a professor, but a group of professors that had an idea that came out of Yale that law is it invades everything, but it's in this process of being and becoming. It's not a static thing. And so it's right and proper for us to voice our opposition, but we should do it with civility so that we're not we're not driving each other to arms, so that the voting process works, so that our country, our unity is held together by the desire for the greater good rather than the immediate need, or even that just, it's got to be my way, kind of deal. John Donne, 1572 to 1631, says we're supposed to really care for each other, for we should, not just our own self-interest, but those of others. No man is an island entirely of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, then Europe is the less. A man's death diminishes me because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never sinned to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Well, this is a call-in show, and it's a call-in show from across the nation, not just here locally. The local number is 206-1580. We're on WCCF News Radio 1580, and so it's the call numbers, and the studio line is 206-1580. If you're outside, because we stream on iHeart, we don't always get it right, let me tell you. It fails sometimes. I hope that it's working out there for you right now. But when it's working and you're listening to us, you can call us in here toll-free, 888-441-1580. That's 888-441-1580. And we've got people that listen in Alaska, in Montana, in Texas, in North Carolina, in Colorado, in Florida, throughout Florida, right here in Charlotte County, in Sarasota County, in DeSoto County, in Lee County. We reach out with the signal, but that streaming live goes out across